Okay, this is lesson 2.5, part B. We're just going to continue adding and subtracting rational expressions. Remember that you have to get a common denominator. I'm just going to review this with real numbers first. So we have 2/3 plus 5/12. If we wrote the factors of that, of course 3 is its own factor. 12 can break down into 2 times 6. 6 can break down into 2 times 3. We see that 3 is common to both of those. And so 2 times 2, which is 4, is what we need to multiply this side by. 4 over 4. And so that we will have a common denominator of 12. So we multiplied 4 times 3, made this 12 over here. And 4 times 2 will make 8. And then we have the other fraction that didn't change, 8/12 plus 5/12. Once you have a common denominator, all you have to do is add the numerators. 8 plus 5 is 13 over 12. And that does not reduce. We could write it as a mixed number, but we'll just leave it as an improper fraction. Okay, so problem number 1 on the assignment. If we'll pause it and make sure everybody has one of those. Go ahead and do this one. If we completely factor the denominators, I notice on this first one right here, the denominator is 4x minus 2. It has a greatest common factor of 2. We factor that out, we get 2x minus 1. On the second fraction, if we factor out a 5, it has a greatest common factor of 5. We get 2x minus 1. So that we see that the 2x minus 1s are the same for each fraction, but we have a 2 and a 5. So what we need to do is times the top and bottom of the left fraction by 5, top and bottom of the right fraction by 2 to get our common denominator. Because if we did this right here, 5 times 2 is 10, we'd have 10 times 2x minus 1. And over here, if we times this one by 2, we'd have 10 times 2x minus 1. So that would be our common denominator. So if I scroll down here, we have 5 times 5 makes 25 over the common denominator 10 times 2x minus 1. We'll leave it in factored form. See if anything cancels. Plus this 2 times this 1 makes 2. If we distribute the 2 through on the bottom, we get, well, we know what the common denominator is already 10 times 2x minus 1. Since we have a common denominator now, we add the numerators. 25 plus 2 is 27. All over the common denominator, 10 times 2x minus 1. And we look to see if anything will cancel. I know the factors of 27 are 3 times 3 times 3, and of 10 is 2 times 5, so there's no common factors. And that's the answer. So let's pause the video right now while you do problem number 2 together, and then restart the video and we'll do number 3. Okay, here is number 3. We need to factor the denominator on the right fraction. Notice that we're looking for two numbers that we can times together and get 28 and add together and get 11. That would be 4 and 7. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 plus 7 is 11. You'll notice that we have an x plus 4 in both of these. But in this one, we're missing the one on the left. We're missing an x plus 7. So we got to times by that special one, x plus 7. If we multiply the 1 by the x plus 7 up there, we get x plus 7 over our common denominator, x plus 7 times x plus 4. And then then our other fraction, it stays the same. And we just combine like terms in the numerators. Well, we have an x plus 7, and we're subtracting the 3. So 7 minus 3 is 4. So we get x plus 4 on the top over the common denominator, x plus 7 times x plus 4. And we can notice that the x plus 4's cancel out, and that leaves us with 1 over x plus 7. Remember that when everything on the top cancels out, you're still 1, because we're really dividing x plus 4 by x plus 4, which is 1. And so this right here is our answer. Okay, pause it and do number 4. Okay, problem number 5. We have 2x minus 1 as one numerator, so we need to factor the other, one denominator. We need to factor the other denominator. I know that to get 2x squared, I'm going to have to multiply 2x times x, so I know that's the first term in each binomial. And to get negative 5, I know I can go 1 times negative 5, or negative 1 times 5. And if I look at my middle term, it's a positive 9. So I'm guessing I'm going to times 2 by the positive 5 right here. That's going to give me 10x. And then x times negative 1 is negative 1x, which makes 9x, which is my middle term. So that is correct. So the positive 5 goes opposite of the 2x. And the negative 1 right here. So you can see that I have a 2x minus 1 here and a 2x minus 1 here. So this one on the left is missing an x plus 5. So I'm going to times by that special 1, x plus 5 over x plus 5. And so on this left one, I have to times the x plus 5 times the x minus 3. So I'm going to distribute. I'm going to get x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. I'm going to write that off to the side real quick. 5 times x is 5x. And if I add those up, I get 2x. And then 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, all over my common denominator, x plus 5 over 2x minus 1. And then the other fraction does not change. I have an x plus 5 on the top. I have an x plus 5 and a 2x minus 1 on the bottom. I'm writing it in this order because it's the same as I wrote the first one. So now I'm ready to combine like terms on the top. I have an x squared on the top. I have a 2x plus an x, that makes 3x on the top. That would be these two added together. And I have a negative 15 plus 5 makes a negative 10. Whoops, I forgot to put the x on there. Negative 15 times 5 is negative 75. And then we have x plus 5 times 2x minus 1 as our common denominator. And we probably need to see if the top x squared plus 3x minus 75 factors. Is there two numbers we can times together and get negative 75. So when we add them together, we get 3. I don't think there is. I think 5 times 15 is 75. And that does not have a difference of 3. And 3 times 25 is 75. And so I think that's it. I think this is simplified right there. That is the answer. Pause it and do the next one, number 6. Okay, last one I'm going to do with you. This is number 7. I'm going to start by factoring the x squared minus 4. Remember, that is a special type of factoring called the difference of two squares. That factors to be x plus 2 times x minus 2. Always look for that special type of factoring. And then I've got to factor the x squared plus 5x plus 6. So I'm looking for two numbers. I can times together and get 6, add together and get 5. That would be 2 and 3. All right. So we have, see what's common. We have an x plus 2 in each of them. So that's the same. What's not the same is the one on the left has an x minus 2 and the one on the right has an x plus 3. So to get a common denominator, I've got to times this one by x plus 3. So I have to times the top by that as well, make it a special one. And over here, I got to times it by x minus 2. At the top and bottom. So if I distribute this 3 to x plus 3, we get 3x plus 9 all over the common denominator, x plus 3, times x plus 2, times x minus 2. Plus, if I distribute the 2 to both of these, I get 2x minus 4 over the common denominator. I'm going to put it in the same order as the one on the left. X plus 3 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. And I combine like terms on the top. So I'm going to add this 3x and 2x together to get 5x. And we add the 9 and the negative 4 together to get 5. And I write that all over my common denominator. X plus 3 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. And I notice that the top has a common factor of 5. We can factor a 5 out. It's not going to help us in this case because my other factor is going to be x plus 1, and that doesn't cancel with anything on the bottom. There's no x plus 1s on the bottom, so we're just going to say that that's good, and that's the answer. All right, do problem number 8, and then the 2 review problems. And you are done with this assignment.